mental. I talked about identity crisis. Identity crisis to me is one of the basic crises we have on the earth. People are validated by what they receive, not who they are. And that's why somebody cannot stay without a phone, because the phone validates them. Somebody cannot stay without a certain look. The looks validates them. And that's the country we are in. We are validated by certain privileges that comes to us. And that is the most destroyed picture of the earth. You don't get validated by what you have. You're validated by who you are. So one of the first things I would have done is to solve the identity crisis that we have. And how do I solve them? Is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, believe in what you have, believe in what you are doing. These are the three things we have to handle here. Believe in yourself, believe in what you are, believe in what you are doing. As simple as the things I have just said, it's what makes America great. They believe in themselves, they believe in the people, and they believe in what they do. They believe they are the first among people. Anywhere they go, they talk like that. They act, they behave like that. You can see them talk like that. So when we have these three things done, because it's an internal crisis that we have, not outer crisis. If I see somebody who is always looking for things, you have identical issues, identification issues. You have that. So you are looking for support. And although that kind of mentality is what has brought us to where we are looking for support. So if we kill that support mentality and believe in ourselves and know what we can achieve, in the next 10 years or 5 years, we'll be the greatest nation on the earth. So that's the program that we need to dive into. And Nigeria will become what Nigeria is supposed to be.
Thank you so much, sir. And here in the Gospel Manager, we want to wish Nigeria a happy 65th anniversary, independence anniversary in advance. Now we'll move over to the global scene. We have just one question for that, and then we'll take live questions as they come, and other questions we have received at the course of the week. Now this one says, "Good morning, Bishop. You are a man of wisdom and precision. The issue I have about the question I want to ask is how we have so poorly projected our nation, whereas these foreign nations that we seek support from have their own lapses that are very obvious to the globe. So if you were to advise President Trump on the issue of their guns and licensing, which has taken so many innocent American lives, even to the public view, quite recently is the Charlie Clark guy, who was recently assassinated. What would be your advice to him? And what lesson can we also draw from this, especially when you see something is killing the people, yet you have no policies to curb it?
You know, sometimes we blame the reactions. We don't blame what triggered the reaction. What triggered the reaction is the liberty of attitude. When a nation allows liberty to be free, I mean, when a nation allows character to be free, there is no control in manners. That's the problem. It's not a gun. The gun is carried by a man. The gun don't carry itself, so the gun is not effective until a man uses it. So to me, the problem of that country is there is so much liberty. Not freedom of speech. This one is freedom of attitude. People can do whatever they want. How does it sound that a child reports his parents to the police? That's the liberty of character that they have. So if you can allow that, so you can see what you are seeing. And so if we want to stop that, we have to get back to the control of character. People's manners should be under check. People should have rights to discipline children when they are wrong, because these things are homegrown issues. They are home. I can tell you that he's depressed. Because he's depressed, he had to go and kill somebody. we share different views. Charlie Kirk's issue is that he shares a view of marriage and sometimes speaks down the black folks. It's like he's a white supremacist guy. He talks more of the marriage, but he speaks more of marriage. He speaks more of that. You can have a wife and children. He's a Christian. He believes in Christianity. He stands by the biblical reasonings of the Bible and does not believe in these socialite things they talk about. So he really stood and defended that. So somebody who has a background of this LGBT thing will not agree with that. Some they may not agree with what you were saying. So is our conversations not together does not make me and your enemy. No. I may disagree with what you believe, but does not make me your enemy. But if we are in a culture where liberty is controlled, you can't think of killing me. So the problem is the inner man that has been given room to act needs to be guided back from their nursery, primary, universities, workplaces. So if that inner man is not guided back, the crisis will progress. So the gun has no problem. The man using it is the problem. If we solve the man, we will solve the gun.
Thank you so much, sir. Rightly said, if you solve the man, you solve the gun. Now, let's move over to this question. This one comes from a pastor in Asaba. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. I was at the recently concluded Rehoboth 25 event, and I must say I was wowed and I was heavily challenged. But sir, I would want to ask the question on how did you coordinate over 100 visiting ministers and maintain excellence across all sections?"
It's your choice to be excellent. Excellent is a choice. You don't give it to anybody. You have to decide to be excellent yourself. So, for example, you come late. Is it somebody's problem? It's your choice. You choose to be late to your functions. You're not orderly. These are decisions you take. So excellence is a choice you make for yourself and fight to do things the way they are supposed to be done. Don't just do things. I've always said to everybody who is privileged, but don't just do anything. Just do it the way it's supposed to be done. I have to be in a function for 7, be there for 6:30 and sit down and wait for time. I'm supposed to set this place this way, set it the way that whoever sees it will appreciate that somebody set it. So the choice of excellence is in your hands. The choice also for not being excellent is still in your hands. You can think whatever you want to think, but doing things right and doing them when you are supposed to do them gratifies you. And that's the thing people don't know, that anytime you do things well, it adds to you, not to the system that you helped. Anytime you do anything and it is excellently done, it's a trademark on your name. It's not for a system. It's for you. When you do it bad, it's still for you. So let's understand that doing things right and well trademarks your name. And the more you keep doing things like that, you will know the day that recommendations will come from afar. How did Joseph get to the throne? It's simple. He did something right in his system where he belonged. So when they needed help in a superior place, somebody who saw him recommended him. And that's what we shouldn't forget. When you stay in a system, do your best to be excellent. We didn't hear that Joseph was so loved, so he was excellent. No. He just did his job. He was just there and was an extraordinary guy and ended up becoming the leader of everybody. So I have made a choice to make sure that anything I touch should be done well. It's my decision I took. I sat there and I told myself, I will always do things excellently well. It takes a lot of pride to do that, but I enjoy doing it well. You can't come and talk to me anyhow, because I won't give you room for that. When I'm through, you think I own the thing, because I believe that life is ownership. Own anything you are asked to do, own it. Don't do it as if it's not your own. Own everything. If you want to help somebody, help the person. If you want to advise, advise. If you want to give, give. Anything you are doing, own it. Those are the records you keep that life cannot. So the man of God should just understand that it's very simple. It's a decision I took, and that's what is being expressed.
So that means this thing about excellence, I believe this is how many people have been viewing it, including myself. This thing about excellence is not a thing about being professional,
No,
but having a decision.
it's a decision. If it's a professional thing, then everybody should have excellence. So some people have been trained, but they don't have it because it's the decision you take that aids your actions. So take a decision to do certain things well. And so that's why you see some people get angry. It's not anger because they are offended over people. They just don't like the way people do things because somebody is not doing something right. I will be irritated when I see you do things like that. Just do it well. Do it well. Because the records of doing things well returns to you, not to me who asked you to do it. So let's know that it's not a professional thing. It's a decision thing, please.
This is one of the reasons why Gospel Manager is here to broaden our understanding about the basic things that we feel ought to be, whereas we're not getting the propounded results from it. For example, we may feel that the reason why it may not be as excellent as should be, maybe because we don't have the required skill or resources to achieve it, but the little way you can, if you make a decision to make things excellently, even those who are professionals could be shocked at the level of output that you bring out, especially when you've made the decision to be excellent in all fact. And we want to say thank you to God's servant for that. Now, the next question, also, this is from a pastor. This is from Pastor in Port Harcourt. He said, "Good morning, Bishop. My name is Israel from Port Harcourt." He says, "Sir, please, what systems were put in place to ensure order, flow, and timeliness during the week-long convention?"
As I said earlier, it's a decision. Now, after the decision,
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be on your TV screens this morning. It's a new week, and we are so excited for the week God has brought us into. The week that ends the month of September and ushers us into the month of October. And to us in the honor world, and to you, our family at Gospel Manager, is a week of quality comments with the scriptural reference to Genesis 41, verse 33 to 58. It is expected that the comments you shall hear of yourself shall be one that will alleviate you, and also the words you speak will be seasoned with wisdom that will also give you favors at the course of the entire week. Now, don't forget to share the link to your friends and your family. Now is the good time. Do not procrastinate on this. Share it across your social media platform. Put it on your WhatsApp status. Let your friends, followers, and family know that Gospel Manager is now live. And God's servant, Dr. Maxwell Egbe, is ready to absorb in their questions and also give them heaven's dictates on how to go about it. Strategy is good, but more important is that you have to share it to get the strategy on how to get out of it. Now, don't forget, you could put your questions in the comment section of all the social media platforms you're streaming from, and also on email to our friends who are viewing video on our TV, and also on YouTube. The email is thegospelmanager@gmail.com, and also you could send via WhatsApp text and Telegram text only at +234 9047 533019. And don't forget to follow us and also subscribe on the YouTube channel. If you are viewing this on YouTube, please subscribe and also like, and let your friends also do the same. It's Maxwell Egbe on YouTube and Dr. Maxwell Egbe on Facebook. It's going to be an amazing time in today's episode, and I'm so excited because God's servant himself is live in the studio. Good morning, Dad, and welcome. Fine, thank you, sir.
Reflexes are so important in our lives. And we must try to make very healthy reflexes. You know, I am not carried away by a lot of things anymore. I'm trying to look at the reflex of the man. How do people make reflections? And you see, that has been my study for a while. The reflex of a man. How do you reflect? And how do you come to conclusion? Because if your reflexes are accurate, then the conclusion sometimes, to me, is poor. So how do you take a decision and then end up being corrected? That's one. And how do you're not able to see something that is supposed to be taken care of? How? So you see, this is my very big concern. It's no more how many persons I teach now. Is what are people doing with what they receive? What are you really doing with what you receive every day? And that's why I advocate that the use of the phone should be minimized. Because sometimes just reflect. Make your eyes do a lot of work for you. And just sit down. So I want to start by this. Let's deal with our reflexes. Because if we don't deal with it, the man's condition will not get better. An attitude or an action connecting to you does not make you right. It has to be with my reflex. Are they producing? Because anything that reduces your integrity is an enemy to you. So let's be concerned that anything that brings down your integrity is reducing your value. Because we need to raise value to get recommendations. And it can come from anywhere. So Your reflexes are the pointers for the rising of your value.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
What a way to start today's episode. Our reflexes are the pointer to the rise of our value. And this is important for everyone who chases value. You must pay attention to your reflexes. Now we're going to start with today's questions from the comment section of our service yesterday, where we had some people share with us, even some sent via WhatsApp text, a little bit of questions about the teaching of yesterday as to get clarity. And this one is from Chibuzo Nyerum. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. I enjoyed the message yesterday. Sir, please, I want to know, why is it that some offerings are accepted by God while others are rejected? And then what the difference between giving out of pressure and giving with preparation?"
Disposition is the problem, not the offering. Is the personality who gave that thing is more of the problem. The offering has no problem. So how you gave it is the problem. What you did before you came is more important than the offering. If you come to serve me food and carry the plate of food with an attitude, that food is not accepted to me, no matter what is inside that food or inside the plate that you brought. So it's not the offering. The one who carries the offering is the problem. And there is a narrative I want to correct. People always have reasons to say they are giving under pressure, but they don't beg under pressure. Why don't you beg under pressure? When you have a need for somebody to help you, you don't talk that way. So my truth here is, decision to give must be a part of our lives. But preparing to give simply means you are defining how your giving goes. And that is a decision that should not come by any mode of transaction. It should come by a mood of you understanding the purpose why you are giving. Because you must know why you are giving it in. I'm giving to alleviate. I'm giving to support. I'm giving to rescue. I am giving to increase. I am giving to grow. There are a lot of revenues why we give. So as you breathe to live, so there's a reason. I eat to stay healthy. I sleep to get refreshed. So there are reasons for everything. So you must know the reason for everything you do. That gives you a better access to applying things better with your life.
Thank you so much, sir. This one comes from Chinonelum Nelson. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. I enjoyed the teaching, powerful message that many people begin to shy away because of social media pressure. But sir, my question would be, is it possible for a believer to be generous but still miss God's approval in giving?"
As I said earlier, there is no, the only thing you should be talking about is timing, not God's approval. What is the giving timing of a season? For example, there is a need before you, and you are privileged to know that's a season for you to give, because the Bible talks about seed time and harvest time. So if there's a need before you and there's a season around you, then meet the need. So there is no specific command anywhere. You see a need, that need is a season for you. It's a seed time. You see a project going on, that's a seed time. Anytime you see a need, it's a seed time. You either take a decision to sow the seed or you leave it. So every time you see an opportunity to sow, it's seed time. Somebody lacks transport, that's a seed time. Somebody is sick, you can afford to pay the bills, that's a seed time. Somebody is hungry, that's a seed time. Anytime you see something that can be solved by you, it's a seed time. So it depends on you deciding to always be consistent in sowing that seed. Is you now being consistent to sow that seed? So we have reasons why we are poor, and reasons for poverty is like I know The sentiment of a parent that has children sometimes plays around my mind a lot. The child is not doing well, but the parents keep giving the child. Why? The child is misbehaving, the child is not behaving well, the child is living in very poor, but the parents keep believing that the child should get better. Are you getting that now? They are believing, they are praying, they are believing God, the child should get better, but the child is wayward. Why are they doing that? Because that's the child, that's their baby. So it's the same thing with giving. It's a season. You keep getting into those seasons where you are privileged to give. The only thing you should be talking about, don't make giving a problem where you now feel you are the one giving. No. See it as an opportunity at every given time, because financial height is tied to what you do with monies. And sometimes people think money being saved is how money grows. No, it's what money is used for that progresses monies. Money does not grow by saving. It grows by investing it on the right purposes. That's when money progresses. Without that, money will not progress.
Thank you so much, sir. So we'll take the last question on this. And this is from Anne. She said, good morning, Bishop. I really enjoyed the sermon yesterday, especially the one about slander. But on the issue of giving, I just want to chip in something because it happens most times with my husband. My husband is a generous giver. He loves giving to God. But I have this issue with him most times, probably when a project seed is called and he wants to give, but when he doesn't have up to the amount, he begins to be so bitter with himself. Sometimes when he has excess, he gives even more than joyfully. But I keep trying to encourage him that God sees his heart. Whatever he has, he can lay on the altar, even though it may not meet the target at the expected time. But how do I keep helping him understand that it's not a matter of pressure, but the heart in giving? Because most times he's upset when there's a need to be met and he doesn't have the full money or excess money to handle it himself. What would be your advice to my husband?
He should try as much as he can to do what he has to do at his level. God is not angry if you do at your level. He's only angry when you do against yourself. That's wisdom. You don't need God for that. So at every time, I have said, and I keep saying it, anytime you see crisis, it's Mark's problem. I don't blame anything. Anytime I see a mistake in my life, I'm the cause of it. I don't blame people for it. And so if he is, I love the burden he has, but if he doesn't have it, let him just keep praying that he will have it. And whatever he has to do at a certain time to show that passion, why not go and do it? But it shouldn't be a problem. It should never be a problem. The problem angle of it is what would even deprive him from getting blessed. He should relax and do according to his level as God, and God sees the heart of man. If God sees that he's interested in seeing that God's kingdom grows, he will bless him the more. God does not bless people who demand from him. He blesses people who wants to see his work grow. Anytime a man decides to see God's kingdom, and this is something that we need to learn how God works. We are very demandful. We are very entitled people. We are so entitled, and these are two things about man. Man is demanding, man is entitled. Somebody can use an attitude of self and destroy an entire system. For example, I was hungry, they didn't give me food. Because of that, everything scatters. I was sick, they didn't answer. I was sick, nobody asked after me. Everything scatters. I was depressed, nobody answered. Everything will go bad because of a certain condition that you had. And that is just man for you. We are like that. Even me, I have it. I am expecting that somebody will ask me, how am I doing? I'm expecting that if I help you, you should appreciate me. I'm expecting that if I love you, you should reciprocate. That is our nature. But God does not work like that. God has never worked like that. How God works is simple. You make sure you are improving his system, then he will keep improving you. He's not a selfish God. As long as you have building an interest for what you do with God. You make sacrifices. You make a lot of sacrifices. When he sees that, all he needs is his presence to come and stay with you. That's all. As long as you have attracted him and he's staying with you, that is all. He doesn't need much to get God. He wants to see the sacrifices he will pay for his name's sake. The moment you pay those sacrifices and you get God's attention, your whole life, for the rest of your life, is there. So there are little things that I feel that man should know how to do, whether believer or not believer, to God, that brings God to them. And it's very simple. It's not a hard thing. This thing we're making church look very difficult. It's the simplest thing to do. Just do what glorifies God at all times. Anywhere you sit, make sure God is honored. Anything you do, make sure you're putting God first. You consider God before yourself. That word, seek ye first, is not a letter. It's a practical attitude. Behave that God is everything in your life. Behave it. The moment you behave it, forget it. I talk the way I talk because I know what I have left to do what I do. There's nothing you can do to me. There's nothing you can say to me. There's nothing you can tell me today that can deviate me from what I do. Because I know the value of sacrifice and what sacrifices attracts. So let us understand that this is a very simple thing. Give him first and he will give you last. And his own, he does not give once. He just keeps giving, keeps giving, keeps giving, keeps giving. And that's why we are hurting our beloved ones. And I've advised people, don't put anything in front of God. You'll be the one to regret it. You'll be the one to regret it at the end. Because he has nothing to lose. I have a lot to lose. I have business to lose. I have family to lose. I have health. I'm not mentioning these things. I have health to lose. I have senses to lose. So if I want to keep all of these things, what do? I try to go to the one who can protect all these things from me and give him all the time he needs. And he doesn't ask for too many times. He can only need 3 minutes of your time, or 30 minutes, or 1 hour, or your time of service to God, that 2 hours in church, that 10 minutes to read your Bible, that 5 minutes to pray. Those are the only things that we do to God. There's no other thing that we do to God that is. Every other thing you do is for yourself. It's for yourself. It's for yourself. Everything is me, Maxwell. I slept today. I slept for myself. For myself. For myself. Everything for myself. So if you check, God is at the loss. We don't give him much time. And that's why we are where we are, because we don't give God much time. So I pray that we can recycle our minds and redirect ourselves to make our living a better place for us.
Thank you so much, sir. One of the things we take out of this response is that we must give God first and he will give us last. And note, his own is lasting. And so this is very important and a good take home for us. Now we'll move into relationships and marriages. And the first question here is from Jonathan. And he says, good morning, Bishop. Sir, please, when couples or those dating face trials, difficulties, or constant differences, how should they handle it?
Mature conversations is what matters. There are too many children into mature relationship. So because children are in a relationship, they will always act like children. So we need mature conversations. And it's that mature conversations that will bring the reasonings out. You know, conversations has to bring reasonings out. So if you are talking and you're not bringing reasoning out, you still will not make progress. If I have conversations with you and we are not bringing out reasoning, there will be no direction. So when you see two children in a very mature relationship And what do you expect them to do? They will try to bring the pictures of people. This is the problem now. They try to bring the pictures of people into the relationship. So, this is how this person did it. This is how this person did it. This is how this person did this. So what they see in maybe what they watch, what they hear, is what they accommodate in their conversations. It's not that it's an originated thought from both of them. A conversation that has to do with two of them, an identified crisis between both parties, and then they have reasoned it out and said, this is the way to go. Somebody takes a certain event from a movie sector because of how it was handled and brings into the picture for a conversation and say, this is the way they handled it too. Let's do it like this. You say, that's not you. That can never be you. You are not in that frame. That person is an actor making money for himself. That person who told you his story was only making references. He didn't give you a direction. So we must understand that, one, children are into relationships, and that's our grinded nature today. Too many children are into mature relationships. So first, they need to get mature. I'm not talking about your age. I'm not talking about how old you are. No, you have to get mature in your mind before you think of keeping a relationship in your life. Then when you are mature, then you can start making mature conversations. Then it will now lead to number 3. After you mature conversations, you now mature reasoning. That is when now you can boldly make corrections and don't get offended. There are many children everywhere keeping relationships. Sometimes when I look at them, I just say to myself, this thing will last too. This crisis will last for a long time. The girl is a child, the boy is a child, but they are married. These are children in marriage, and they are making babies. The man is a child. If you are talking to him, he's even arrogant. He's even feeling proud. So those things, to me, is childish. You can't be a mature, reasonable man. Should be taking lessons, not getting angry. You get angry with your children, not with people who can help you. So certain things are not right in our society today. Children are into relationships, not adults. So as long as children are into relationship, what do you expect to receive from them is the product of childishness. It will come out. And Paul rightly said it. When I was a child, and that was not a boy talking, that was a man talking, an educated man talking. When I was a child, I reason and speak like a child. See, when I became, that means he matured his thought. He changed his way of reasoning. See, now in Romans 12:2, he talks about the renewing of the mind. That means he sat down and began to mature his mind. As his mind got mature, it affected his actions. So if we want to see healthy relationship and conversations, we must first become adults, then start talking reasonably. Then the actions of these two, it will be very visible that these guys are mature. They can even be angry with themselves, you will not know. They can still greet, talk, laugh, but they are angry with themselves. Those are mature people. Mature minds. Angry with themselves, but things are done normally. Things are still going on, but there are differences. So we live in a society where everything is striving, everything. Those are children, strive, talking anyhow, no respect when you talk to somebody you're supposed to respect. It's because the people are children. Children behave like that. So we need to build this sector. And if we can get it right, and I want this to go bigger than this. If you are not mature, don't get into a relationship. Because you will not talk maturely. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir. Just before we get into this question, I think I would just want to chip in something that you can also comment on. Because one of the things that I think the foundation of, in my opinion, I think the foundation of why we are where we are in a relationship is based on two sectors. Number one, the entertainment sector, what people see, and watch on social media, and what they watch on screen, and then some of these relationship conferences, the kind of conversations that they allow people to express. Like some people will say, if a man cannot marry you for who you are, then he's not meant to be with you. Now, if I have to marry you for who you are, if you are someone who is arrogant, that means I have to marry you for who you are. If you are someone who is lazy, it means I have to marry you for who you are. And they bought those kind of perspective, and they feel that if you cannot deal with me based on who I am, then it's not going to work. So how do we address those kind of perspective amongst people, because they begin to feel entitled and they make statements like, after all, I was like this when you met me, so if you want me to change, you have to cope with me, you have to be patient with me, things like that. So how in issues like this, how do we address it?
You know, one of the problems, I said it the other day, that is we have identity crisis on the earth, and that's the problem. If we can solve identity crisis on the earth, the world will be a very perfect place. I don't see a reason why the sellage now is all about trying to sell a narrative. Everybody wants to get a narrative out. So I keep asking myself a question: why are we trying to be different? Everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants to do something to misrepresent a previous knowledge. There's no continuation of knowledge. We are trying to misrepresent, not even bettering it. We are misrepresenting every standby standard knowledge that we met. We are not improving it now. We are misrepresenting every standby knowledge. Something new is being discovered to counter what we normally do or what we know. And that's to tell you how the man's minds work now. The mind of the man is working negatively. The man's mind does not work healthy anymore. Negatively. So that's where the problem is. So if we want to get that solved, we must first identify who we are. If you know who you are, you verify everything you hear. No, this is not for me. This is not for me. You just tell yourself, this thing is not for me. But when you don't know who you are, everything is for you. So the problem is, if you know who you are, that has already solved the problems of relationship. And let me shock you with this. People like standards, but they don't want to get into it. Every man likes order. And for the one who is trying to sell that, people are very business conscious today. So sometimes it's a business narrative. Majority of the people now are using business narrative to do a lot of things. How much will I get before I get into this? Even to the training of people's lives. It is more of how much they will get before they even think of the well-being of the people. Before, in the 90s, in the 80s, even in the 1980s, we were looking at the well-being of people. Now we're looking at how much do we make. So as long as we are doing that, these narratives will always be there. But it's your decision to take now. How credible are you in the inside to know what you don't need and what you need? I know what I need. No matter who comes to me, I know what I want for myself. I know the life I want to live. I know the peace I'm creating for myself. So I stand in that place. I don't need anybody's approval for that. So if you are in a relationship, or if you want to get into one, you already have a nature that you have. Build that nature as long as it is positive. And look for, this is how to get it. And look for somebody who will do two things for you. Strengthen your strength and eradicate your weakness. That's how people should get married now. Somebody should come to your life to strengthen your strength. Then see how to minimize your weaknesses. That's the purpose for marriage. That's what Eve should be doing to Adam. That's what God asked her to come and do to Adam. Be his helpmate. That's the purpose of marriage. There's no other thing. Anything you people do in marriage, I'm looking at them, you talk behaving like children, behaving like a child. Say you're married, like a child. The purpose of marriage is for somebody to come, strengthen your strength, make you do better what you are doing. You get better with it. That's the essence of marriage. And then if you have a weakness, the person now stands and says, no, this is not working anymore. Cultivate a habit where those weaknesses are dead in your life. That's the purpose of marriage. Anything outside, that's the purpose of relationship. Anything outside that is an attack to a relationship. That's the essence of having somebody in your life. So just check, is that what we are doing today? No, that's not what we are doing today. Even to a colleague in the office that is close to you, somebody is close to you, is your friend. That's supposed to be the purpose of that person in your life. To blossom you. And to make sure the things that you are doing that is affecting your image, the person assists. Because it is easier when you see me from the back. I can't scratch my back. You will see what is on my back. So it's easier to tell me, sir, there is a mark on your back. Oh, there's a mark. Can you snap it and show me? You have assisted me, what I cannot. That's the reason for friendship. So when friendship is not playing those roles, then you have a problem already. You have a problem if friendship is not playing those roles. That's what friendship is supposed to play. Today, people are complimenting. That's what we do today. We compliment anything people do. Anything people do. We don't frown at it. It's okay. People are even behaving like servants to their friends. Servant. They carry you up and down as if you are a loaf of bread. I don't understand that kind of life. You can't push me like that. You cannot. No human being in this life can push me like that. Since I knew myself, nobody in this life. So it's your choice to know that I am in someone's life to do two things, to either help him or to kill him. You're either killing somebody or you're making somebody's life. So the choice of building a healthy atmosphere is within our boundaries to build. Take your time and identify what you are supposed to add and what you are supposed to stop. You see, people don't forget what you do right. They don't, though they will not recognize it, but they don't forget. They will one day meet a worse situation and remember that you were the good person in their life. So always know that people will not forget what you did right. But they will also make references to what you did wrong when they meet a situation of that kind in the future, and they will call your name. That's how life works. So let's be careful and make the choices of the tracks you need to follow early enough in your life. Don't please, but pattern to make sure you're always doing the right thing. That will help you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so this one says, I read and I quote, Bishop, it's not their fault. I think it is mine. And this is about with regards to my immediate younger sister's marriage that is in shambles. The first time I intruded into the marriage decision of my other younger sister, I was like the black sheep of the entire family. Now, fast forward to my immediate younger sister, with whom is the reason for writing this question, is I visited her supposed husband, with which she currently is married to him now, in his house with my younger sister because I insisted I wanted to see him. But when I saw the way he reacted to his younger sister and the way she tried to defend herself, I turned and told my sister, this guy will beat you in your marriage. But she ignored it. And I came back home with my sister, had a meeting with my dad, but then they said because I almost made my other younger sister lose the wealthy guy she wanted to marry. The boy works in an oil firm, but I insisted that she was not going to get married to him because I saw some traits that to me were red flags that she was not seeing because she was blinded by love. She later married someone who currently is a UFC fighter in South Africa, and they are happily married. That I take pride for. But initially, before she got married to this guy, it was tug of war, and my father almost disowned me. Now, this my sister, I left it because I didn't want what happened to the previous one happen in this case, so I kept mute. I only attended the wedding reception, and then one day I came back home and found my sister in the house with a mark on her face. And I asked, what is the problem? Nobody agreed to see anything because they of course knew what I would have done. Again, fast forward to last year, December, I saw my younger sister with her daughter in my father's house. And I asked what happened. They blatantly lied to me and said they came for Christmas. I kept quiet. Even though I saw her countenance, it meant something was wrong. Fast forward again to April this year, I saw her in my father's house and I asked, what is the problem? That was when she opened up to me to say that the boy beats her up. Any slight argument is either he rains down insult on her, on how incompetent she is, how foolish she is, and sometimes ends with a fight. I told my sister to desist from the advice her friends gave her, which is to stand up man against man with him. And I said, he will simply kill you and we will all bury you. But then I confronted the young man, although I am not particularly excited with my action because Bishop, he puts here, quote and unquote, Bishop, I really dealt with that small boy. But then the matter kept on lingering. My sister would come on and off, on and off. So I took a resolution to go to the police station, get a lawyer, and made him write a statement that if anything happens to my sister or if he dares lays his hand on my sister, he will be blatantly arrested and imprisoned. Although this has resolved the issue because for some time now he has not laid his finger on her. But I'm then concerned about the wine in the marriage. It is no longer there. In this case, what can be done to help my sister enjoy her marriage again?
You know, sometimes we have people who are heavily carried away by certain enticing, attractive presentation. Everybody has that demon in us where we get into things because of the way they are or the way they look. So we don't really take our time to study. And you see, when you say people don't read, is because people don't study things. People don't study things properly before getting into them. Anything that looks attractive, everybody jumps into it. And that's why we are having so much crisis in marriage. But we don't study people. You see, this is the end product of not studying people. Now, we are talking about the reactions. But if you study the person, it doesn't need to beat you before you will know that. I've always said that I can tell you who is a thief without the person stealing. I can tell you who will be very arrogant without the person even being arrogant. But we need to study people. It's that capacity to study that is lacking. So my only advice is simple. All these processes that they are going through, no matter what they do, the foundation is cracked already. All they need to do is simple. Let there be a superior counselor in that marriage. who sits the both party together and remind them on what it takes to stay together, and put boundaries around the both of them. And as long as there is this knowledge expressed and boundaries created, it will help to solve. But that approach that he has will either create more problem, because it's not his problem, it's their marriage issues. So if that young man too comes from that angle, there will be a lot of fights. So it needs to be handled with a superior sense. The crack is the guy was not studied. Now that the reaction is here, let's bring a broader management culture, and it's simple: study and boundaries, strict boundaries, which must be done by a certain people. This our daughter and things like that. This thing we feel we're not interfering, but her life is our concern. We will not entertain this anymore. So they don't also give the girl right to misbehave. Sometimes care can be an enemy. You know, sometimes you care for certain persons, they become a problem to you. So care sometimes become an enemy. And I love people who don't take privileges for granted. I love them a lot. No matter how the person is with you, the person still understands that you are who you are and you need to be respected. I love such people. But people who play with privileges are very poor-minded people. So they should also know that whatever they're trying to do to the man does not empower the lady to now see the man as somebody she can abuse. So let's understand that as we do things, we should balance them. Because the girl is given powers, she also know that she's somebody's wife. And she know how to make sure that we're only protecting you, but we're not empowering you to abuse the privilege of marriage. So they should deal with those two things, and then that will be taken care of.
Thank you so much, sir. We have so many questions on relationship, but we'll take the last one for this episode, and we'll keep taking them in subsequent episodes. And this one says, good morning, Bishop. Sir, please, what are the ways couples can support each other in realizing their hidden gifts, skills, and potential? I give the case study with my husband. He is a very intelligent man, and sometimes I discover that he is a gifted writer, which I'll just tell him to help me write on some specific topics unknown to him. He will write, and I'll just keep publishing with his name on it. And late last year, he was recommended for a publishing. He was recommended by someone to publish his book. And then my husband, between last year, this happened, and this year, August, he has published 3 books, and they are now selling well in the UK. Now, that was me being able to identify his writing gifts, and he is now considering quitting his job and focusing on writing and speaking. So in this, I believe that there are so many homes whose spouses are gifted or have hidden skills, but may be distracted by their responsibility to provide, hence they are working somewhere and paying less attention to that. And there are people who have potential but have not been able to reach it because their spouse have not seen it. So how can we do this, sir?
We have grown to build. I appreciate that effort. It's a sign that she understands how family works. When we bother more about who is successful, that's where this problem of divide comes to a home. But when you bother more about how do we get success, then there will be unity in the family, and then growth to come from any angle. So she has decided to know that our family must grow. So growth is coming from any angle of the family. So I won't sit here to talk about quitting his job or leaving his job. It depends on his passion. If the passion is strong enough to develop itself, why not give it full time? That's his decision to take. So, but for a family that wants to be like that, You should first of all check the capacity of your spouse, the willingness to come down for the other to rise. Some people are inbuilt. They want to be number one in the family, even when they are supposed to be number two. So they may be submissive as women or calm as husband, but he wants to be number one. She wants to be number one. So when you have those kind of persons in a marriage, you know, no matter how one subjects his or herself to quietness or to service, once in a while that attitude comes out. And if it is not managed, it's a problem. So whatever we do, we should try to make sure that the growth of a family should be our prime concern, not who is making the family work. And it's the same thing to a team. The concern is, whether you're a leader and somebody in that system is very effective, why not use the person and grow the system? Why does it have to be you? I've always said to people, if I lead a system and I see somebody who's willing to do everything I do, I'll give the person the privilege to do it. Go ahead and do it. Me, I don't bother myself about supervision. I won't ask questions. As long as you're doing what is right, go ahead and do it. Succeed. Succeed in it. And I will not be challenged. I will not be bothered. In the midst, God blesses you more than me. Thank God for you. But it's not so today, because everybody wants to be me, my own. That's my own thing in marriage is the problem. So let's fight for family. When we fight for family, we will do what that lady has done for the husband. And we'll do what some men are doing for their wives too. So, but if we don't see that picture, we will always have families where gifts are not realized, potentials are not achieved, because we want to fight to bring it out. No. Whatever we have is for the family. Let's just grow it. So if it is you God wants to use, fine. If it is me God wants to use, fine. But the bottom line is we are making progress. That's the bottom line of it.
Now we go into the last two questions for today's episode for want of time, and this is under ministry and leadership. I'll start with the first one from Reverend Samson Ida, and he says, "Good morning, Bishop. Sir, I've been an added follower of you, and I just love your discipline, your order, and your ministry. But sir, can I ask this question on how ministers can handle stubborn but influential members or leaders in the church?"
Keep your standard. Forget about them. The problem is you see them more than your standard. See your standard more than the people. Let the people come to your standard. Don't go to the people. If the people come to your standard, they will learn it. If they refuse to learn it, it's two things. They're either staying to learn it or they are leaving you. So keep your standard and let them come to it. It is coming to it. Salvation comes to you. Salvation is preached, but an altar call is made. You are the one who comes to Jesus. Then he will not ask you to confess him. Then start leading you. So as a leader, build your standard and let the people come to it. If they are fighting it, stand with your standard. It's two things. They are either accepting it or they are not accepting it. And you don't compliment people so they can obey you. What I see some people do today, and I smile at them, the person you are complimenting to obey you will disobey you. You don't compliment people to obey you. They must obey because they have to obey you, whether they like it or not. Whether you are angry or you are sad or you are sick, whether you are not healthy, you have to obey that instruction. So when you are trying to, what would they say? What would they say? What would they say? The mouth was meant for one purpose, to talk. So talk. But my standard has to be followed. Whether rich or stubborn, or you must follow it. And that is my rule about life. If I'm not talking to you, you have made yourself unuseful to me. That's why I'm not talking to you again. If I'm not talking to you, you have made yourself unuseful. So I don't see a need to talk to you about it. So I just neglect you. I go to some other person who have been sending things to go and do for me. I leave you alone. But you're not relevant because you put yourself there by the way you behave to things. But saying that I will change my standard for you, no, it won't happen. So the leaders should know that people should meet what he's trying to build, but they should not change what he's trying to build. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And then the last question, it says, good morning, Bishop. What's the right way for pastors to respond to fellow ministers in the same city, spreading rumors and criticisms about them? This is from Pastor Jotam from Kaduna.
Pay attention to what you do. I have a style. How do you even hear what you're saying if you're very busy? If you're very busy, you will not even know what anybody says. And so, pay attention to your job. Now, how will I hear what somebody says about me? I will not hear. I won't hear. I can be here till December without crossing that gate. I don't have issues with who I want to see, who wants to see me. So it's you. What you want to hear, you will hear. I don't want to hear it. I'm on my lane. I'm too busy. I have so much work to do. I have a system to build. I'm talking of what next to do. So pay attention to your job and leave what people say about you. Whether it is good or even compliments are also bad. Compliment is even worse than criticism. Sometimes people are complimenting you when you have done nothing. I mean, notice sometimes I compliment you, you've done nothing. So you talk very well. Is that an award? You talk very well. What does that do to you now? It's not okay. That message was powerful, and the person who is saying that the next thing is making mistake, is acting negatively over the thing he says, bless his life. So sometimes those compliments are even deceitful act against you. Who they are complimenting. Somebody who says, I was blessed by that teaching. It has changed my life. And just left after 3 days, went back to even worse act. So to you, that sometimes compliments are dangerous things for you not to accept. Jesus said, I know all men. Why did he say that? Because he knew their heart. He perceived their thoughts. So compliment or criticism, why are you even around it? You know, before when I teach, I'll say, what did you learn? I don't do that again. But you can't tell me you learned. The next day I'm correcting you of the same thing you say you learned. So I don't ask those questions. I know you're not learning, so there's no need. But I'll just keep teaching you. Because if you're learning, it will show your actions. I'll just, for example, I sat here, and this TV is not on. You were here before I came, and it was not on, and you didn't see it. And I am teaching you about being observant. It's clear to me that you didn't learn, but I asked a question yesterday, and you told me it changed your life. So what is the proof of the change? Is it not your actions? Is it not your actions? Your actions is the proof of the change. So whether compliment or criticism, stop hearing them. You don't need it. Pay attention to your job. How will I hear that you spoke about me? Because I don't give room for it. I don't give room for it. I don't even have time to talk to anybody. So how will I even hear? I don't call people on phone. I don't do it. I don't have time for that. So get busy with your job. Get busy with what you do. So when you are very busy, you won't hear anybody talk about it. So if you meet them somewhere, somehow, you will notice that it's the stories of your success that will sell you, not what you said or what anybody said about you. So let's get that settled in every frame of life. When you keep hearing things about you, it's because you're busy asking questions about yourself. What people are saying about you. How did you get to hear this? How are you even hearing they are talking about you? How? If you're not asking the questions yourself. So if I don't ask, I won't hear. So if mistakenly I get to hear it, maybe it's coming through a conversation. So when I notice I'm hearing too much about those things, I stop hearing those conversations. But I focus on my job because that's the essence I'm here. That will help.
Thank you so much. Have you observed that the same people who criticize you and you haven't given them attention and you are succeeding, they begin to say that they don't know how you are doing it. Throw shades at you, just still try to get you. But when they meet you in public, they go all down in all honor and respect because they know you are far better. So pay attention to your work as God's servant had said and focus on what is necessary and not what is unnecessary. As long as you're building and you're building right, you don't need to pay attention to the distractions that you hear about yourself or the work that you are building. That's God's servant's counsel to us this morning. Now, how would you want to start your month of October if not with us at the executives, a special online section that God's servant used to prepare us for the month. And this executives for the October edition is themed opening of chapters through books. God's servant has a revelation to give to us and a new strategy on how we can make ready and the most of the month of October and down to December. Don't forget, it's the first Wednesday of October down to Friday the 3rd of October at 4:30 p.m. daily. God's servant will be ministering live, and don't forget, you come fasting as we prayerfully prepare ourselves for the month ahead. Also, on Friday the 3rd at 10 p.m., it's a remarkable service, a service of fervent prayers led by God's servant himself, Dr. Maxwell Egbe, and his team Battle and Ratu. This is where we settle negative patterns and everything that had been orchestrated diabolically against us, against our families, our businesses, our careers, and every other area of our lives. We settle it on God's altar, and we know that for sure we get the victory. So please join us on Friday the 3rd at 10 p.m. as we prayerfully pray against the works of darkness written against us and blot it out by the blood of Jesus and get God's blessings that we run with for the entire season. So make it a date, share it to your friends and family. If you're not in Asaba, don't worry, you could stream online on YouTube and also on Facebook at Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe and Honor World International and Honor TV and Maxwell Golden Egbe. We'll be live and we can't wait to receive you. Now, something special is coming up this Sunday, the 5th of October, 2025. Is a special anointing service with God's servant, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe. The three services are power-packed as we are going to conclude with the special anointing. It's 6:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., and 10:30 a.m. Ministry Live is God's servant as it takes us into a new dive and into God's heartbeat for us in this season. Now, don't forget, Nigeria's independence is on the 1st of October. Wish well to the country, pray for the country, and also do not join those who criticize the country, because the Bible said, pray for the growth of Jerusalem. This is our Jerusalem, and we have the best wishes for Nigeria. We are a blessed nation with blessed people, blessed culture, and blessed ethnicity, and also diverse languages. So speak well. Speak what you want Nigeria to be, starting from the 1st of October. Defend the cause of Nigeria, and we know that indeed God will bring into fulfillment every good thing that you have said concerning this country. We are the pride of Africa, and we take pride in that. Don't forget also that the revival we see globally is in Africa. And please say a prayer and also wish Nigeria a happy independence. I'll leave the floor now for God's servant to give his closing remarks and bless us for the week.
The hunger for better opportunities must be checked by everyone. Sometimes we are so hungry for opportunities that we become less creative, we become very highly demandful. And let us know that in this school of thought, time must be built through certain standards in life. And if you build time into standard, the next thing that comes with it is success. And that is why I prefer to sleep on the floor than to sleep on the bed that don't have a destination. There are certain places that have no destination, but they only have comfort. I repeat again. There are certain locations that don't have a destination. All the location has is comfort. Free food, free house, free water, but no destination. And we are fighting for comfort, not destination. And a lot of people today just want comfort, but no destination. And comfort does not build, but destination builds. Let's build our minds right. Let's work on our minds right. Let's work on ourselves. Let's look inward as humans. And let's stop putting the blame on people. Look inward. And check what you have really done with yourself in the place that you belong. What have you raised? The difference between being paid and being impactful. Some people are just being paid and they are bothered about how much they earn. They bring economy to it. I have a child, I have a family, things are off. I keep asking the question, what is your impact? We are only concerned about how much we are being paid. I've not gone to school. I don't have anybody. What is your impact? Is your impact that I am after? Forget about living. I'm talking about if you die today, living a place. If you die now, what have you really dropped on the earth? On people. So we need to go back and ask ourselves very intelligent questions about life. Not how much you are earning for a living. What is your impact? And how have you grown yourself? And how effective you are? And how useful you are? And what are the things you have changed? What are the things you met? Because of you, they are no more there. You have changed them. And reduce a living full of crisis in our lives. What have you changed? What did you meet? And what did you change? Who did you meet? And who have you changed? Who did you bring into a system that didn't believe in the system? But when you met the person believed and came to a system. Who did you change your orientation? Who didn't believe? But because of you, the person now believed. These are stories we must begin to build in our arguments connecting to life. So I want to drop this as my trade to life. Don't live life. Live it deeply. And make sure you are either adding, improving, and impacting. Have a blessed week. God bless you.
Don't forget to follow God's servant on all social media platforms on YouTube, Maxwell Golden Egbe, on TikTok, Maxwell Golden Egbe, on Facebook, Maxwell Golden Egbe, and Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe for more of these exciting words of wisdom and nuggets from his servant. Now, don't forget, his closing remarks today is a good way to start by asking your questions in the next episode. How do you grow and how do you make reviews? Now, Don't Manager returns this Friday at 7 a.m. and make sure you build standards so that you can stand out. That's why we say here, life is beautiful and you can handle it. Have a productive week and we'll see you on Friday. God bless you.
Join God's servant, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, for a night of intense prayer, power, and prophetic release. Chains will be broken, destinies realigned, and victories established in Jesus' name. Don't miss this divine appointment. Date, Friday, 3rd October, 2025. Time, 10 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Venue, Rehoboth City. Opposite step-down transformer along Asaba-Dibusa Expressway, Asaba, Delta State. Come ready to battle in prayer and rattle the works of the enemy. Your testimony is next.
One of the things that this program will do is to bring you to the quality of Christ. The quality of Christ is result oriented. They have been with Jesus simply means they were governing themselves at the level of Jesus. They were not seen as servants of Jesus. They were seen like men operating at the class of Jesus Christ.